The Kansas City Chiefs, a team synonymous with dominance and precision, have suddenly found themselves at the center of a story few could have imagined. A stunning revelation has surfaced, leaving fans and insiders in disbelief. This isn't just another rumor or minor controversy, it's a development with potential to reshape perceptions within the organization. The Chiefs, often viewed as the gold standard of NFL stability, now face uncomfortable scrutiny. Behind the polished performances and trophies lies a reality more complex and human. Sources close to the situation confirm that this revelation involves a personal decision by a high-profile figure, sparking emotional reactions across the league. The timing couldn't be more sensitive, as Kansas City continues its pursuit of another championship. This moment has forced both fans and players to confront the vulnerability hidden behind success. The truth now exposed reveals not scandal, but humanity, a rare glimpse into the pressures, loyalties, and decisions that define the unseen side of greatness. To understand how this revelation came to light, one must look back over the past few months. Subtle signs had been their brief comments in interviews, subdued expressions on the sidelines, and quiet tension among team members. Insiders now say these moments were not random. They were precursors to a larger truth waiting to emerge. The Chiefs' internal culture has always been one of transparency and support, yet even in such an environment, certain realities remain buried until they can no longer be contained. The decision that sparked this revelation reportedly took shape after weeks of private reflection. It wasn't motivated by anger or conflict, but by personal conviction. What began as whispers among close teammates soon reached management, leading to conversations behind closed doors. Each discussion carried emotional weight, balancing personal needs with professional obligations. What's remarkable isn't the revelation itself, but the courage it took to acknowledge it openly. Knowing the impact it would have on an entire franchise's emotional rhythm, the revelation was confirmed earlier this week, sending ripples throughout the NFL community. It arrived not through speculation or leaks, but through an official acknowledgement that silenced rumors with undeniable truth. The statement was brief, respectful, and deliberate, confirming what many had only suspected. Within minutes, sports media erupted, framing the story as one of the most unexpected developments in recent Chiefs history. Inside Arrowhead's walls, the atmosphere shifted from shock to introspection. Teammates were informed personally, reinforcing respect within the group. Despite the emotional undertones, the organization's leadership emphasized empathy and unity, understanding that moments like these test the authenticity of team culture. For the individual at the heart of the story, the confirmation brought both relief and weight, a release of secrecy replaced by public attention. Fans reacted with compassion, disappointment, and surprise. Yet beneath it all was an understanding that such truths reveal the humanity often hidden behind helmets, contracts, and fame. Within the Chiefs' locker room, emotions ran deep. Players processed the news in silence before conversations began to unfold. There was no anger, only understanding and quiet concern. Every individual in that room knows the immense mental and physical toll of sustaining excellence in a demanding sport. Leaders like Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce approach the situation with maturity, reminding teammates that compassion defines true strength. For them, this moment wasn't a distraction, it was a chance to reinforce brotherhood. Younger players watched how veterans handled it, learning lessons beyond playbooks and game film. Discussions about performance gave way to reflections on balance, identity, and purpose. Coaches gave space for expression, proving that leadership extends beyond strategy into emotional stewardship. Through the turbulence, the locker room found unity in vulnerability. What began as shock slowly evolved into solidarity, transforming potential fracture into collective resilience. The Chiefs didn't just respond, they connected, proving that empathy remains their strongest playmaker. As the news spread, reactions varied dramatically. Analysts dissected every angle, debating whether this revelation would affect the team's momentum. Fans flooded social media with emotional messages, some heartbroken, others supportive, but all deeply engaged. National headlines painted the story as both shocking and poignant, symbolizing the fragile line between personal choice and professional duty. In Kansas City, local communities rallied behind the team, emphasizing loyalty over judgment. The Chiefs' fanbase, known for passion and unity, demonstrated empathy that mirrored the organization's own values. Still, the media's relentless cycle kept the topic alive, creating speculation around future implications. Would this impact locker room morale? Would it alter leadership dynamics? Amid endless commentary, one thing stood clear: the Chiefs were handling the situation with dignity. Their silence spoke volumes, reflecting a culture that prioritizes integrity over impulse. The public's fascination continued, but beneath the noise, the story became less about football and more about humanity under pressure. The individual at the center of this revelation made the decision after deep introspection. Years of commitment, performance, and public expectation had created an emotional burden few could comprehend. Sources reveal that personal reflection, family influence, and physical wear all played pivotal roles. For athletes at the highest level, every season demands more than strength, it demands sacrifice. Balancing identity, and private life becomes increasingly complex. The decision wasn't impulsive. It was deliberate, painful, and necessary. It represented not a departure from dedication, but an act of self-preservation. Those close to the situation describe it as a choice rooted in authenticity rather than fear. Within the organization, the response was measured and supportive. Leadership understood the weight behind such a move. This chapter in Chiefs history will not be remembered for controversy, but for courage, the willingness to choose honesty over image, truth over expectation, and personal clarity over the unending demands of fame. In the aftermath, team leadership demonstrated why Kansas City continues to be revered beyond its trophies. Andy Reid's guidance proved essential in maintaining emotional balance. His philosophy of leadership through empathy allowed the team to address the matter privately while reaffirming collective focus. Patrick Mahomes stood as a symbol of stability, delivering words that echoed respect and perspective. Travis Kelce followed with reassurance, emphasizing that unity remains unshaken even amid surprise. The Chiefs' leadership core has long emphasized emotional intelligence, and this event became a real-world application of that principle. Meetings focused not on blame, but on growth. Coaches emphasized trust, communication, and accountability. Through it all, the message remained clear: a single revelation does not define a team's identity, its response does. The Chiefs, guided by experienced leadership, have turned potential disruption into an opportunity for reflection and resilience. This moment will likely strengthen the team's bond rather than fracture it, shaping their legacy beyond performance. Beneath the public statements and controlled responses lies the deeper emotional truth. The revelation touched every corner of the organization because it reminded them that success often comes with unseen struggle. In a sport built on strength, vulnerability can feel like weakness, but here, it became a unifying force. Players spoke privately about their own pressures, acknowledging the mental and emotional strain that rarely reaches headlines. Coaches began emphasizing balance as much as discipline. Within team meetings, discussions turned personal, giving players space to express what they rarely reveal. It's in those quiet conversations that real transformation occurs. The Chiefs, often seen as invincible, found connection in shared humanity. The revelation may have started as a shock, but it became a mirror reflecting the reality of modern sports, where emotional health holds equal importance to physical endurance. For Kansas City, this undercurrent of understanding could become their unseen advantage as they navigate both competition and life beyond the field. On the field, questions naturally arose about whether this revelation would affect performance. However, the Chiefs have responded with remarkable focus. Training intensity has remained high, and the team's chemistry appears more connected than ever. Analysts note that adversity often reveals a team's true identity, and Kansas City is proving that professionalism can coexist with emotional challenge. Each game since the revelation has carried added meaning, a silent statement of resilience. Players have described renewed motivation, using the experience as fuel rather than distraction. Coaches have praised the team's maturity, highlighting their ability to separate emotion from execution. The organization's stability during this period has impressed even rival franchises. While the revelation temporarily disrupted expectations, it ultimately reinforced the Chiefs' foundational strength, unity through adversity. As the season continues, this moment will likely be remembered not as a setback, but as a defining passage in their journey, a reminder that composure is the true measure of greatness. This revelation, though shocking at first, transcends the boundaries of football. It stands as a testament to honesty, vulnerability, and growth in a world obsessed with perfection. The Chiefs' handling of the situation has become a model of professionalism, empathy, and unity. What began as disbelief evolved into deeper understanding, a recognition that every athlete carries unseen battles. For the player involved, this decision will be remembered not as a controversy, but as a defining act of self-awareness. For the team, it reinforced that leadership extends beyond strategy into compassion. And for the fans, it revealed that true loyalty means standing firm through both triumph and turbulence. In the end, the revelation didn't weaken the Kansas City Chiefs, it humanized them. It reminded the world that behind every championship and every victory are individuals striving to balance excellence with emotion. The story will endure as a powerful lesson in integrity, proving that truth, even when painful, ultimately strengthens legacy.